All right, Bryon Powell of iRunFar here behind the camera in island of La Palma in the Canaries with 5 of the American runners who will be running the Transvulcania ultramarathon this weekend. How are you guys?
Good. Awesome.
So what's it like, you know, for years sort of the American community raced mostly in the United States. Now there's a whole lot of racing over in Europe. What's it like coming over here to race? I mean, Dakota, Geoff, you guys have been here before.
We've never been here before.
Well, not to the island, but you've been to Europe to race.
We've been to Europe to race, and it's very cool. This is very different from anything, though. This is just a volcanic island rising straight out of the ocean. It's incredible. It's intimidating, actually.
It takes a long time to get here. That's one thing I'm thinking about right now. Is it takes a long time to get here, but.
I mean, how does that play into racing? I mean, do you think it's a factor?
Yeah, but I just slept 12 hours. I think we all just slept 12 hours. So,
you guys did have the ultramarathon sleep session going on. And Mike, you've raced here for UTMB a couple times.
Yeah.
Have you guys learned anything from that experience of coming over and make the transition easier?
Well, I think it definitely, you know a little bit more what to expect coming over in terms of what the scene is like over here. I mean, not that we knew what to expect here, but you know, you show up and there's a lot, you know, there's a lot more media over here. It's kind of an entourage. You know, we show up at the airport first thing and they're taking photos and giving us bags of some crazy toucan bird stuff or something. Anyway, it's just, yeah, I think I've learned that from UTMB that there can be a lot more hubbub, you know, around a race, and maybe more prepared for that, just to take it as it comes and just, you know, be ready to race and not worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of interesting that there is that interesting difference in the amount of media and attention placed, but that also, do you think that's where the sport's going to have to go in the United States if there's going to be more corporate support and more, you know, flying Europeans over to race in America as you know, people have flown you guys over here to race? Is that just a natural progression of the sport? Anybody? I mean, Tony, you've flown around a lot.
I have, yeah, but I find it really hard to believe at this point that anyone in the United States would actually be willing to put up the money to fly Europeans over, just because the culture is so different in the States around mountain racing. I think that's sort of a shame, but because it'd be fun to race Europeans in North America too. But I mean, I don't know if it has to go that way. There doesn't necessarily, I suppose in order to raise money, you're going to have media, which is fine. I mean, as long as you can still keep your mind focused on the race.
I mean, do you find that, you know, it all distracting to chat with, not just, you know, say one person, but, you know, there's a bunch of international media here today. Does that take away from the racing experience, get you out of the mindset at all, or?
I don't think so. I just slept 12 hours, roll out of bed, just got to rest all day, and so we just hang out in this resort hotel and talk about ourselves.
Y'all look pretty chill today.
Talk about it.
I mean, I think it's distracting a little, but then it's like, at the same time, there aren't like, you know, hundreds and hundreds of the like, kind of the masses of the participants and the runners milling around who sort of know who we all are and come to us, and which is great. I mean, I love being at races and make friends and all that, but like, it's kind of like over here there's all this media focus, and it's really just chatting with media folks instead of chatting with like a bunch of other participants. It's kind of, it's sort of the same feel in terms of I'm just talking to people that know who I am and I don't generally know who they are.
I mean, actually, Dakota, tell us a little bit about the hype machine. You did a provocative post the other week. You know, how much do you think that plays into where the sport is and going? Like,
I think that if we want to keep racing like this and flying around the world to do races like this, which are incredible opportunities, I think we need the media. I mean, right now there's like 6 cameras trained on us, and I think that it can be handled well. I think it can be handled smartly and be a very good thing for the sport. I think my only reservations are that people will get so focused in parts of the sport that don't have anything to do with running, and I just don't want that to happen. I'm in this to run, and my favorite part is going out on a run like yesterday and just enjoying it. And you know, yesterday we went out for a run and sort of stopped running and jumped in the ocean for a while. And
you guys explore some volcanic tubes, right?
yeah.
Well, he jumped off a 45-foot cliff. Is what he means by jumping.
Isn't that against your contract somehow?
Yeah, it was actually really cool, and that's just like a good example of how like laid back it is. You know, we just like to go out and run, and I think that right now we have a good balance between doing it for the right reasons and also building up the hype so that we can make money off the sport too.
Yeah. Well, speaking about running, you guys are over here to run. Most of you are over here to run an 83K, 51.5 mile race. What's it like coming over to a place where, before you ever run Western States or Hard Rock, you know a dozen or dozens of people who've run it and you can talk to them and gain that experience. Here, you really don't have anybody to talk to about what kind of food and water are on the course, and you don't know what the standard is over here. Like, how do you prepare for that unknown mentally? Anybody?
I think you prepare more in a self-supported manner. Like we were just talking about the fact that I don't think there's any drop bags or anything on the course, and they don't provide gels at the aid stations, and so you just kind of have to know that in advance and plan accordingly if you're going to bring more gels at the start or just try and wing it and use some of what they will have at the aid stations. And so there's a little more unknown, I guess, on that front. And you have required gear that you need to carry, so by default you have to carry a pack or something to carry the gear in, and so you're probably going to end up carrying more gels than that too. So
how about footing and like just the layout of the course wise? Again, for races in the States, you can really get a very good sense of what it's going to be like in terms of what shoes and how you actually approach the different segments of the course. Have you guys got a good briefing or sense of what the race course is like?
That's happening in half an hour.
I think it's exciting to, certainly by tomorrow morning I want to know a little more maybe than what I know now, but it's kind of fun. I mean, it feels more like just going out for a run in a totally new place, which it is. And if I knew every little detail of the course, it wouldn't have as much of that novel feel. It's kind of exciting.
Yeah.
Running's just running. You go around the mountains and
you kind of know how hard to run for 8 hours.
We all know how to run. We know it's going to take you out between 7 and 8 hours. So go around.
And I guess at this point, you guys have raced a bunch of the top Europeans before. It's some people try to make a big thing about the U.S. versus Europe, but I mean, like within the U.S., you guys are all very casual and friendly. And having seen you guys interact with the Europeans, it seems very the same way. You might not all speak the same languages as well, but what do you guys feel about like interacting with the top European racers? Like, do you guys think?
Well, I mean, there's a language barrier, which is difficult, obviously, and I think that's the main thing. Not for this guy, but
everyone's just very, very friendly, and it's not so much. I mean, of course, everyone races hard on race day, but we're all eating together, and we'll all have brews after together, and it's not competition in the sense of it's not cutthroat in that way. It's more just everyone goes out and races hard, and then everyone's friendly after it. I mean, it's not, oh, I'm not talking to that person because they're wearing a speed suit.
Yeah, just a couple minutes ago I was accosted because the American uniform, well, not quite now, but a little while for breakfast, all the Americans had long hair and checkered shirts. Yeah,
totally. Just a bunch of long hairs.
No. Hippies.
I mean, I just think it's in terms of like what Tony said about the courses. I mean, it's running, and like everybody that's here racing, likes to run, and that's kind of the common bond.
Exactly.
And, I mean, I'm really good friends with all these guys, but I'm also like got to know some of the Europeans, and I'm every bit as open to and aware of that I'd be just as good of friends with them if I hung out with them as much. Don't see them that often, so it's a little different. But
so when you guys aren't drinking brews together and going out for easy runs, who's going to be up there at the front this weekend? Anybody want to chime in for the favorites? Joe's point. Anton, you're not racing.
I'm not racing.
So you can give me a.
Well, I don't know. I haven't run with Mike actually recently, but I guess I've run with everyone else. I don't know. Geoff just, did the 350 miles in Alaska, so he's a little worked from that, or coming back from that still. And I don't know. I mean, everyone's strong, but Dakota and Mike are both pretty fit right now, I think.
And any thoughts on who might be from the European side of things?
Oh, yeah, Killian and Ikair, I think, are going to be the top men for sure. Killian hasn't been running very much or at all, hardly, but he's going to be fine. Let me think who else off the top of my head. I think it'll be interesting to see how Seb does. I think 50 miles is a little bit shorter than like what his. I think he's a little better at 100-mile stuff, but he's always fit. He ran Transvulcania Canaria, won that a couple months ago. Who else is up there? Yeah, Andy Simons. I think he's probably going to surprise some people, just because he won Template last year. And he's coming off an injury, and I think he's probably gotten a lot stronger over the winter. So on the men's side, yeah, I would expect that'll be the crowd.
Anybody thoughts on the ladies' field this weekend?
Anna Frost.
There we have it. Consensus.
Well, I mean, I think what's her name, Nuria. She hasn't really done this longer stuff yet, I guess, but she's pretty strong too.
Yeah, was it Picas Albestis?
Yeah, I don't think she'll win.
Well, cool guys. Thank you so much, and good luck out there this weekend.
Thanks, Bryon.